to him. As well.
Oh, here we see him making another deep one. Derelict Watcher is our first map in this PVZ series. Kev, what do you say we go ahead and hop into the game?
I can't wait.
All right, Kev. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Derelict Watcher. The red Zerg player, Vortix. And his opponent up in the top right-hand corner of the map, the blue Protoss player, E.G. Oz. Interesting that we start this series off on Derelict Watcher, Kev.
Why is that, Ben?
Well, I think it's a map that a lot of Protoss players really don't like. And I would not have been surprised had Oz vetoed this map, for instance.
No, I could definitely agree with that. But then again, this might be one of those maps where Oz is just going to say, I'm going to do a certain build. I don't really care what you do. I'm barely going to scout because I'm just going to do what I like to do. Now, we saw Oz in the WCS round of 16. And, you know, perhaps he's not too popular because of that, but he was able to defeat Scarlet 2-0 with two very strong Immortal all-ins. I'm sorry, guys. I have to drop the facts.
That's it's true. It's true. They were very powerful two base pushes, and
they were fast. They hit hard, and they ended the game.
We do see Vortix going with a very standard Zerg opening spawning pool before hatch. Drone going out to drop that expansion. No drone scout, which is, of course, completely normal.
Now, if we would see something like that, I think creep spread is going to be extremely important, because this is definitely a map where Vortix would be able to set up awesome surrounds over here. If it would come to a two-base all-in, then again, you do need creep spread to make it actually worth it. Otherwise, you know, roaches off creep, then it's not that intimidating as a flank.
Vortix is grabbing a super fast gas, Kev. 14 pool, 15 hatch, 15 gas, something crazy like that. It means he's going to have Ling speed out very early on. He is sacrificing a little bit of his early game economy to do this.
Yep,
and his opponent is fast expanding, which in general, I think Zerg players would prefer to delay that gas in this situation. But Vortix is going to blindly go ahead and grab it.
No, I think it's safe to say, Ben, that Vortix expected us to play Gateway expand. And now he's seen like, oh, this was actually a Forge fast expand. Well, that's a little tricky. Then again, it's still something that Heon likes to do a lot as well, just, you know, get a quick hatchery. Even though Heon likes to go hatch first, so it's a little more economic, but it basically comes down to the same thing. Scouting-wise, it's going to be awesome for Vortix. He's going to have speed really early on, so these links, they should be able to see everything, as I think Derelict is a pretty hard map to sneak out a probe and actually, you know, keep it hidden.
Vortix is mining more than 100 gas, Kev.
Oh.
With more than the amount of drones you would expect at this stage in the game. What are you thinking, Vortix? Production tab shows us that he's still droning.
Also, has not scouted this either, man.
I am very curious what this means. Normally, guys, in this stage of the game, if a Zerg player gets that fast gas, he might mine 100 gas. Whoa. Double Evo chamber before speed. This is looking like he might want to play some crazy Ling style. And this is, you're talking about the fastest upgrades you could ever get.
Wow. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm sure that he's thought well about. I mean, 1-1 links would be absolutely amazing in dealing with almost any sort of aggression. We can actually see the Stargate going down for us. So that's a pretty good choice, because it's already going to be a low economy Zerg, and then Stargate units are going to be much more effective. As you know, if Phoenixes pick off a couple of drones while his opponent is at 40 instead of 60, then obviously it hurts way more than, you know, if it would have been that booming economy already.
Fun little bit of trivia. If you start your 1-1 like this, if you spend all your gas to start 1-1 and leave 3 drones on the extractor, and then start speed as soon as you have 100 gas, all 3 upgrades are going to finish at the same time. So what that does is it opens up a 1-1 timing for Vortix. So there's a very real chance that we'll see a huge swell of Lings as all these upgrades are finishing. To perhaps assault the 3rd expansion and maybe try to cancel that.
Which would be very... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, Kev, I hear you when you say that this is good against the low economy Zerg already, but also when you open Stargate like this, you have so much less of everything else that things like those 1-1 timings can be pretty brutal.
And it's going to be very hard to actually secure a third base when you have unupgraded gateway units against 1-1 links. Those links are going to feel like Ultralisk. And we're going to see a multiple Phoenix opening. With also, we never know, so I'm going to keep a close eye on the amount of gateways that he decides to throw down. You know, if he would try to go for a 2-base play like we saw Genius do earlier today, but then Genius did it with Void Rays instead of Phoenixes, he's going to be in for a rough time because those links, they're just going to melt everything on the ground. But that's not the case. Robo going down. Maybe it's the Phoenix into Colossus build, maybe it's just an expand build.
It could be either, quite frankly. Vortix is taking his own third base. He's been droning mostly this whole time, and he's got his 2-base saturation. So, yes, he has chosen maybe not the most economical opening of all time, but there are some possibilities that come with it, and I'm excited to see what happens. Here's that swell of Zerglings we were talking about, Kev. 12 Lings in production as +1 armor, +1 attack, and Zergling speed all finish up. Phoenixes are being a little bit annoying, picking off some Overlords here and there, and also getting some good intel. It could be enough intel that they decide, well, taking a third base is not so smart right now.
He's going up to 49 probes already, so it's unlikely that Oz wants to do anything of 2 bases. Work count is simply too high for that. And yes, these Phoenixes have been annoying, but no crucial damage has been done. It's going to be so hard for him to take that third base. I don't think that
he's playing against... Oh my god, he never scouted the main base.
He's going to be in trouble, Ben.
Oh my... Kevin, this could be huge as Oz is out on the map. The Ling is going to see the sentries, and here comes Vortix. Oz is going to lose every single one of his sentries. There is no chance. The force fields are going to go down, but these are 1-1 Lings, Kev. They're not going to die easy.
He can just wait a little bit. I mean, maybe with an additional weapon, with 4 Zealots, those sentries will be fine. He's buying time for himself. Beautiful little donut.
Okay, well, actually, Vortix will back off here, but here's the next round of Lings, Kev. Infestation Pit's already going down, and you can bet that Vortix is going to want to fight again when these Lings show up. It's going to be very difficult to take this base. Now the Phoenixes are seeing everything, and he's like, oh, wait a second. You have very well upgraded Zerglings.
Well, nice micro so far by Oz. He's still picking up drones, he's still picking up Overlords, and he hasn't lost a single Phoenix yet. So, doing a decent job at that. A lot of Lings out over here. Ooh, big Zealot weapon should be enough for us.
We are going to see another big surround, and the Lings are on top of the sentries, and everything melting very quickly. The Zealots with Force Field do trade well with the Zerglings, but a lot of sentries killed once more, and Vortix is just trading right now. Right now, Zerglings feel like they're free for Vortix, and he's going to continue using them very liberally.
He doesn't have a massive economy behind this though. 11 more drones on the way. Then he's going to be finally on that work account where you can truly start throwing away a lot of Lings. Because even though those Lings don't cost a lot of money, I love that Oz is picking up this Queen as well. No Transfuse on the other one. Additional Queens coming a little late to the party. There is one Transfuse over here. He's going to lose a Phoenix.
And the Queen lands and lives to transfuse another day, I guess. 94 supply to 100, +2 is going to be finishing up here very soon for Vortix. With the first Colossus out, Oz is going to be safe. I'm actually very impressed that he did not lose this Nexus.
Well, the Colossus is not out yet, and this is a lot of Lings again. I'm not sure how many. Okay, we have one Colossus.
Nope, they're going to try to run into the main base, and maybe they could have caught the Colossus, maybe they could have fought the sentries. Instead, they do neither.
I think that Oz is going to be passive for a long time right now, don't you think so, Ben? Because he knows that he's in an upgrade disadvantage. He knows that he's going to play against Infestus as well, so Infestus can be extremely strong if the Protoss army is like 130, 140 supply.
I'm actually a little surprised that Vortix hasn't gone up to Hive yet. Okay, and as I say it, he starts it up, 12-minute Hive timing. We obviously know he's going to follow this up with Ultras. He's investing quite heavily in these upgrades. So
I think he should have the time to get Ultras out as well, don't you think so?
Yes. I don't think it's very easy for Oz to attack right now. Very scary to push out
Fungal is so scary. Zergling swarm, like sure, Colossus are amazing against Zerglings, but if there are so many Zerglings out on the map that your Colossus actually can deal with it. He only made a single one, by the way, which surprises me a lot. Now he's producing an Immortal, which I don't understand at all, man.
This is still a scary amount of Lings, even with Colossi out on the map. Infestors will also make it difficult for Vortix, or I'm sorry, for Oz to fight. I like these pylons. These are going to give him some chokes to work with. As Vortix will sacrifice a Ling to get a look. And sees probably what he was expecting to see.
I mean, I guess he's already producing Immortals because he's anticipating the transition into Ultralisk. Queens making their way across the map as well. I think with a single Colossus, Oz is going to have a hard time dealing with all this. Even though I do think that Vortix needs a few additional Zerglings, he doesn't have enough at the moment.
He's not quite ready to fight yet. +2 armor's on the way. Infestor count's getting pretty high. One thing that worries me a little bit, as much as I like the playstyle Vortix is showing, and as much as I like how it's come together, the Templar Archives is finishing, Kevin, and with the transition into Immortal Archon very, very close, the army composition of Vortix is not yet, but soon, it's going to be having some issues.
Second Forge is finishing up for All, so he's able to produce upgrades twice, 2 at a time right now. It's definitely what he needs, because he's pretty far behind upgrade-wise. He also put in the Adrenal Glands upgrade being researched as well, Ben.
Yes, sir. Most important upgrade in the game.
Definitely. A lot of transfusions going now. Vortix playing a pretty clean game so far.
Yep.
Not making a lot of mistakes.
Very cool and a unique style. He's showing us something that we might not have expected to see. Ultra Ling is not uncommon on this map, but the way he went about it, a little bit different. Ultra Cavern is going to go ahead and finish up, and we will be seeing Ultras in production soon.
And 66 drones, which is not that many.
Yeah, but Ultra Ling, as weird as it might sound, is very cheap. The Zerglings you're able to produce them basically until you mine out those 3 bases. And yes, the Ultras cost quite a bit of money, but with the Queens out, he can transfuse them for a long time and keep them alive. It's one of the lowest economy armies that you can make with Zerg, in my opinion.
He does need that 7 and 8 extractor, even though all the gas that he's mining right now, he's spending on Ultras.
Look at Vortix. He's doing an attack into both possible 4th bases. He's going to see nothing up at the top of the map. But upon spotting these Zealots, he might suspect something in the bottom half.
Zealots are actually doing surprisingly well, despite being in an upgrade disadvantage. But
positioning is key. He's going to swing down here and spot this pylon and deny any attempts at expansion.
It's a very hard map to take a 4th base, certainly when you play against Ultra Ling.
Didn't get the probe, though, so that's a small win for Oz, in fact.
Second Robo is wiped in as well, so we have 2 Immortals in production at the same time. 7 Immortals already, that's so many. Oh, I would love a Great Aspire, man.
Yep. I liked a lot about the way this game started for Vortix. I'm getting less excited as I'm seeing how it's approaching its conclusion. The Immortal count is very scary. The fact that the Archons are in play is very scary. Storm's also out. It's going to make it hard to get much work done with the Zerglings, Kev.
He just doesn't have that much gas, so I guess he's not able to afford Aspire. Aspire would be absolutely devastating for this army. 10 Immortals, it's just...
Yep. Perhaps that's a transition we might see 5, 6, 7 minutes from now, but obviously it's not in the cards in the immediate future. This could be troublesome, a little bit of a hooligan squad. 6 Zealots making their way into the top left-hand corner of the map. They will very likely deny this expansion.
At least kill the drones. I do think with the Zerglings he should be able to save it. Unless Vortix is going to sacrifice it and try to win the game over here, which is a very ballsy decision.
That might be what he's thinking. Infestors and Ultras coming forward. A couple of good fungals do land, but the Zerglings are going to die very quickly to all this splash damage. Infested Terrans are going to go down, and how much transfuse does Vortix have right now? The Ultras, they're not dying, Kev. Oh, a couple of them are starting to fall. Transfusions running out. Phoenixes are going to lift the Queens, and Oz is going to hold without any issues. This is going to be a successful defense. Yes, that's a lot of transfuse, but 2 Ultras are not enough to fight this number of Immortals. That's 6 Immortals.
Wow, and during all this, Oz was able to pick up this 4th base as well. That was a terrible fight for Vortix, or even when it was sort of even, the outcome was terrible as he lost his 4th base, and Oz during all this secured his 4th base.
Yeah, it was painful. And surprisingly, they traded pretty even. Like, if you looked at the supplies, they were both maxed, and at the end, they were both at 120 supply. The problem is, as you pointed out, there's no tech switch available to Vortix. He doesn't have the gas. Oh, big Zergling run by into this expansion is not going to be able to get anything done because the Zealot Warping is on time. And, hey, Archons have a field day with clumped up Lings, at least when they can hit them.
Also, it's so important that Oz kept his Phoenixes alive throughout the entire game. Well, this Archon likes living on the edge. Already 18 kills and still alive. So important that he kept his Phoenixes alive. And also, I love how he's spreading them out over here, so a single Fungal won't be able to kill it, and Vortix would have to spend so much energy.
Infinite vision, basically. Queens are going to try to chase these Phoenixes away, and they will succeed, but it's going to be a time-consuming and arduous process. Vortix trying to reload with more Ultras and more Lings, but this is an army built to kill just that, Kev. And there's not as much energy for transfuse this time. Ultras will engage once more, but look how fast they fall. Oz just crushing forward. And Vortix is in a lot of trouble.
These Immortals with 2-3 upgrades just hammering away on these Ultras, and as you said as well, this looks like a very, very dicey fight for Vortix to be in.
That's going to be the last of it, Kev. The Ultras melting away, and his only Queens against Archon Immortal. Good game. EG Oz looking strong, living up to the trash talk. Goes up 1-0 with a convincing win on Derelict Watcher.
Yeah, pretty cool game though. Interesting opening by Vortix, and I think a lot went okay for him up to a certain phase in the game. Even, you know, when he was close to maxed out and Oz was maxed out as well, Oz's fourth base was still pretty damn late. And yeah, you could say regardless, Oz is going to do well in that fight because of the ridiculous amount of Immortals and Archons he has.